In this demo, let's demonstrate how to use different kinds of data paths. If you open up your before solution, you'll see a file called 2.2 data paths, and it's got some core elements in here for the styling for the demos. And if I look for the begin demo content, this is where I'm going to render my content out. So I want to render out a list of guitars, so I'm going to create a UL. And inside of that UL, I'm going to put my LI items. And let's give the UL an ID. We'll call this my music list, just to be consistent. And give it a little class to style it. And the class I'm going to use, we'll put in there row fluid, which is a bootstrap thing, which helps us create a row. And then we'll make it unstyled. So that's all good. Now I have a place to put my content. If I scroll down, I can see there's a template already created for me called music template. It's got LIs in it with a div, but nothing inside of there. Now, knowing that my musical data is going to have models and pricing and pictures, what I want to do is create a title first for my items. And then I'll use the syntax to say, without using encoding, so no encoding, I want to put the model's brand. And then again, using no encoding, I'm going to put the model's name. And then I'm going to wrap up here with my header. And then below that, I can put the price and other information as well. I'm just going to copy in the price just to save a little time. And then next up, just to change it up a little bit, let's create an image tag. And inside the image tag, I want to create the source equal to be, we'll just hard code in the core path of images, and then we'll pull the value out for the picture from a property in my object. And it's going to be in the gallery object, and I could say main photo as the property. But just to change it up, instead, let's use it by key name. Now inside my tagline, inside that div for tagline, I'm going to have some HTML content. For the HTML content, I could just display without using encoding and say, all right, what's the tagline going to be? Now if I go look at my musical data, go to the JS folder under music data, and search for the word tagline, we're going to see there's tagline, which all referring back to tagline base, and tagline base is just up at the top. You can see it's containing HTML content. So if I want to show that without encoding, I've got the job done right here. If I want to show it right below it with encoding, what I can do is say HTML : tagline. So next step is let's go down to our JavaScript, and inside of my document ready, I'm creating a view model, which has got some metadata to put the title on the page and to create a function to go out and get my music. And music is going to be a list of products that comes from my music data over here. And then I'm going to need to display out my template. So first, I need to use a little bit of jQuery to say, find that music list, and inside of its HTML property, I want to put some content. Let's go find my music template, which IntelliSense helping me with again. And then I can say render, and then let's just get one item at first. I'm going to get the third item in the list, and if I go back to my music data, I should find there's model 1, there's model 2, and then down here is model 3. It's going to be my 914 CE item. That's going to be the model brand. So if I display this now, I can right-click and view it in the browser. And the default browser is Chrome, so I'll pull it up here. And we can see we've got my Taylor guitar. It's the 914 CE. It's only one of them. And here we can see that we're displaying the tagline without encoding, and then right below it, with encoding. So all the data came out and it's nice for us. And then if we want to display using array syntax, we can do that too. Now the arrays get a little interesting, because if we want to search for arrays here, I've got a warehouse property where every object has a warehouse location. It's an array of warehouses that might be stored. Inside there is an object. That object has like what warehouse number is it. So that warehouse 12 is locations like which section and row and shelf was it in. So we can take a look at that syntax by typing in a quick div up here. Let's say the warehouse is, that warehouse is going to be using no encoding. We're going to spit out the warehouses. That's the array name. We'll get the first item just for grins. And then we'll get the number right here. And then right below that, we can put a space, and this will get the first item again. In this case, we're going to get the locations inside that warehouse, the first one, and then we'll print out the section number that it has. So what do we just do there? So we should be getting the first warehouse's number, and then the first section, which is W7 in my data. So if I right-click again, I can view it in the browser, and here we can see the values, and there's my warehouse. There's the number 12, and the section is W7. So we can see that this syntax works really nice with arrays. And just as a side tip here, if we want to, I'm using the WOVS extension in Visual Studio. Instead of just viewing the browser, which goes to the default, I can right-click and say View in Browser, and it brings up all the available browsers. I can choose something like Internet Explorer. And that will render the data up, and we can see the data displays just nicely here too. And that's how you use JsRender to render data paths.